Assalamualaikum. My name is Dr. HAZIQAH binti Muhammad Noor. In his opening remarks at the media briefing on COVID-19 on April 10, 2020, the Director General of the World Health Organization announced that the COVID-19 epidemic had affected 213 countries with positive cases and deaths. A novel virus that infects the respiratory tract causes COVID-19. This disease has spread rapidly among residents of Wuhan City, China, starting in early December 2019. This was an unusual situation, with reports of unknown causes of phenomena. First early results showed that the Wuhan seafood market in Wuhan City had exposed a number of patients to the disease. On 7 January 2020, the Chinese authorities identified the novel virus as the cause of this serious phenomena disease. And on 12 January 2020, WHO confirmed the identification of novel coronavirus. Acute respiratory infection in humans has been caused by the novel coronavirus present on the market in animals. Several studies have strongly indicated the primary host of the novel coronavirus was bats, as the entire novel coronavirus genome-wide nucleotide sequences were 69% similar to bat coronavirus sequences. Various coronaviruses are found in animals that cause not only respiratory disease, but also liver, gastrointestinal, and neurological disease. These two viruses have triggered significant outbreaks of fatal phenomena, extreme acute respiratory syndrome and middle east respiratory syndrome. As a sign of the government concern for the challenge facing the people during this difficult time, the I-Lestari initiative has been introduced. This budget emphasizes balance in helping the people to continue living and at the same time driving economic growth. The EPF also welcomes the government's consideration of some of the proposals that have been made, especially addressing the social protection issues that has been highlighted over the years. The COVID-19 pandemic has brought unexpected and very serious challenges, especially to those who have lost their jobs and sources of income. Earlier this year, the EPF took immediate action to resolve the problem of their members by introducing the I-Lestari withdrawal, in the hope that it could alleviate some of the cash flow problems for employees. The EPF was also allowed members to reduce their employee share contribution rate voluntarily from 11% to 7% for the period April 2020 to December 2020.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Juliana Nisya binti HASSAN. I am from KAM 1104A, and I will continue with the factors of I-Lestari being introduced. So why I-Lestari being introduced to the people? I-Lestari seems to help restore the economic cycle of the affected and squeezed society. So I-Lestari is one of the best measures to help the victims involved in covering household expenses, and this estimate not only to reduce the burden of the people, but at the same time is also aimed to move the country's economy. So basically, I-Lestari is an EPF program where the withdrawal can withdraw a minimum of 15 ringgit and a maximum of 500 ringgit per month from account 2 up to a maximum of 12 months. So in the presentation of budget 2021, the finance minister announced that the EPF account 1 withdrawal facility with a target of 500 ringgit per month with a total amount up to 6,000 ringgit for 12 months. And at the same time, the government is still continuing the productions of I-Lestari in account 2, which is expected to end in March 2021. So at the very least, the contributors can withdraw up to 1,000 from EPF account 1 and 2 to ease the financial burden due to the COVID-19 outbreak. So now let's move on to the SWOT analysis. So the first one is the strength of the I-Lestari. I-Lestari is basically a program introduced by the government during the COVID-19. So because of the I-Lestari being introduced during the COVID-19, the government decided that all applications for I-Lestari assistance were made online to prevent the spread of the virus. So I-Lestari has changed its system from offline to online due to the COVID-19. And employees' provident funds (EPF) or contributor can now download all information on their contributions through the online EPF account using the Apple App Stores. And I-Lestari Online is offer a better experience where members can make an application more easily, and the members can also check the status of the application and assess common questions by simply browsing the EPF website through a computer or mobile device that can access the internet. This can facilitate and save time for every EPF users in making an application. EPF member does not have to queue and wait long just to submit or pick up the form for registration. And as we know that this kind of assistance can attract a lot of people to rush or go to the every EPF branches just to get the application form. So if the EPF does not take any action by changing the offline system to online, the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic will be even worse. Therefore, this online system does little to benefit the country at this time and place. The decision to change this online system was made to ensure the safety of EPF members, the employers, from the spread of the COVID-19. Apart from that, the EPF has also made a very difficult decision, which is to close the EPF branch from last March 2020 and transfer all EPF transaction and service, including the I-Lestari withdrawal application, to the digital form.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is NOOR SADON from KM1104A, and today I would like to present about the impact and also weaknesses of I-Lestari. So, as you guys know, during the COVID-19 pandemic, many people lost their job and also their source of income. So that many people affected during the COVID-19 pandemic. But the government comes out with the solution, which is I-Lestari. I-Lestari has many benefits, but also it has its own weaknesses, which is the older generation don't really know about the IT, and also not many of them have smartphone. So that if they need to apply the I-Lestari, they need some help from the other people. If they have their child, they might ask for the help from their child. The second weaknesses of I-Lestari is, if many people apply for the I-Lestari by online, it can cause the system to be stuck. This might need a few hours or even a day for the website to be fixed and can use again. So, this situation might lead for the application to be delayed and cannot be approved. Because if they can't access the website, they cannot apply for the I-Lestari. If the longer period of time need to be approved, they don't have source or even money to buy things for their living. So it can cause difficulty for the citizen to continue their life.
Assalamualaikum, my name is IRDAYU PUTRI binti NORAZME. So I'm going to present the opportunities I-Lestari provide for the citizens. So I-Lestari is an initiative from the government through the EPF withdrawal facility to help those affected financially by the recent COVID-19 outbreak. So this has caused circumstances such as loss of employment and also wage cuts, which push Malaysians to tap their savings and also EPF funds. So this initiative has brought up opportunities for the members to withdraw money to give them financial support during the pandemic, and also complete their basic necessities to survive.
The possible threat is that some parties are worried that the current withdrawal will affect employees in the future because the EPF money is estimated to be used only 5 years after the end of work service. This is really worrying if the current production which is seen to help the finance of these affected workers happen will have a big impact in the future. As you know, the EPF is the contribution of employees and employers to be used after the end of work. This is to ensure that after the end of the service, the employees still have the money to continue living. If money is withdrawn now, the period of future use of money will be less than 5 years. Employees must pay difficult because the saving that should be used after the end of service is reduced and can affect the leave of employees. In addition, in terms of economy also be affected. This is because the EPF contribution monies, which also helps in the national economic cycle, cannot be invested. The EPF fund of 40 billion ringgit that should be used as employee saving will be lost, affecting the EPF cash flow. This will affect the integrated economic flow of the country. Furthermore, at the time of the COVID-19 pandemic, which greatly affected the economies of countries affected by this contagion, it prevents the country from earning national profit as usual, instead of lowering the percentage of national profit which occurs due to the economic sector not being able to operate as usual.
This initiative is held to give financial support for the members affected financially due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The recommendation to improve I-Lestari is by limiting the amount of times the members withdraw the money, and also maybe by minimizing the amount of withdrawals so that this will avoid insufficient amount of the members' savings in the future. As we all know, this savings is meant for their retirement, and also if this facility is not being accessed properly, it might cause the members to lose out their long-term security in managing a proper and sufficient amount of their savings, especially for the retirees and also for the people who are in financial critical, to have emergency fund for them.
I will continue to the impact of the I-Lestari. The impact of the I-Lestari to the citizen is that they can affect their saving for their retirement. It is because they withdraw their own money from their saving. It may affect their future as well if something bad happens to them in the future, because we don't know what our future will be. So their children also might affected if something happened to the parents if they don't save up for their children's future. It can cause a lot of trouble for them if they don't spend well their money and also saving for their own future. Moving to the second impact of the I-Lestari is the capital expenditure or investment will have an impact on the long-term economic growth over the private consumption, which is more focused on the short-term growth. So it will give more benefit to the citizen if they save up for their saving in their EPF account. Perhaps for contributors whose income is not affected, EPF withdrawal should be limited to use that have a double impact on the economy. This is because the future is more important from wasting their money on the things that they don't even need. Because during this COVID-19 pandemic, many people lost their job and also don't have their source of income. So the people that don't affected during this pandemic might need to think for their future as well. Because if they keep wasting their money, it might affect their saving and also their future. So I guess that's all from me. Thank you.
As for the achievement of I-Lestari, the recent pandemic has caused economic fallout in the country, which lead to financial difficulties among the Malaysians. So I-Lestari had brought up brighter opportunities for the members to withdraw certain amounts of their money from the savings to ease their financial burden and also manage their affected necessities for living purpose. So this shows how government actually came out with an effective initiative to ease financial issues among the Malaysians, and this encouraged to an effectiveness of the administration in developing the country.
In conclusion, by introducing the I-Lestari withdrawal, EPF took immediate action to resolve the problem of its members in the hope of reducing some employee cash flow issues. The government has agreed to allow the EPF to withdraw savings from account 1 on the basis of the budget 2021 target, which is seen as helping to restore the economic cycle of the affected and depressed communities. The I-Lestari withdrawal was introduced by the EPF to alleviate some of the cash flow problems of the members and allow them to voluntarily reduce their employee share contribution rate from 11% to 7% for the period from April 2020 to December 2020. In addition, EPF contributors can now use the Apple Store and App Store to download all information about their contributions through the EPF account online. EPF is very pleased that the application provides members with flexible facilities. And it is important that members monitor their savings, which and determine the quantum of basic savings. I-Lestari, which offers opportunities, can help people withdraw money in their EPF saving account to meet the needs of families when the COVID-19 crisis hit the country, is one of the strategies issued by the government. The I-Lestari manufacturing facility seeks to ease the financial burden of the members and assist them to meet their specific monthly financial needs during the COVID-19 pandemic. The government has announced that EPF aged 55 and under will withdraw a maximum of 500 per month for 12 months from their two saving accounts. Indeed, every effort was made by the government and the EPF to outline different measures to alleviate the burden of the people affected by the COVID-19 epidemic. Through the implementation of this initiative, the government is confident that the disease will be curbed and well-being of the people will be restored. This initiative aims to provide assistance to the people in terms of income assistance.